Definitely a blanket stitch in stout black wool, she thought, surveying the vulnerability of the material as it fell to the hem of the vast floor-length garment, and wouldn't stand up to the abuse of being dragged roughly over the unforgiving ground for hours on end without fraying away to nothing. The garment, coming apart from the bottom upwards, would not sustain the illusion necessary for the occasion. Kerry Carmichael selected a ball of black nylon, unbreakable by mere human hands, cut a length from it, and threading a large-eyed needle that would work well with the open weave of the costume, she began to stitch round the bottom. Her husband, D.S. Davy Carmichael, of the Market Darley CID, would be the best-dressed Frankenstein's monster on trick-or-treat duty this Halloween, or she was a Romanian paisley weaver with purple dandruff. He had not used all his considerable powers of persuasion, not to mention begging and whining, to secure this special evening for the children off duty, to have his appearance spoilt by shoddy needlewomanship. She had been certain in her own mind, however, that he would not be needed to uphold the law tonight, as his immediate superior, D.I. Harry Falconer, although appearing stern and unyielding, was a closet pussycat. He knew full well what the children meant to his sergeant and how much he'd been looking forward to escorting them around their home village of Castle Farthing in fancy dress, hoping for the neighbours' largesse of sweets, chocolate, and even pieces of fruit from the more health-conscious amongst the inhabitants. A roar of despair from the sitting-room claimed her attention, and she called out to find out what was amiss. "I can't find my fake head top," floated back a baleful bass voice in despair. "I was sure I'd left it on the dresser, and now I can't find it anywhere. I can't be seen out tonight without a tall, flat head. I'll be laughed out of the village, and the kids'll never forgive me." "It's in the right-hand cupboard. I slipped it in there so that one of the dogs wouldn't mistake it for a plaything and chew it. You know how long it took me to glue all the wool onto it in parallel lines so that it looked like hair?" "Good work, Mrs. Carmichael. That's the sort of intelligent thinking I'd expect from the wife of an up-and-coming detective sergeant. You will help me stick it on straight, won't you? I can't go out with a wonky head," he stated, with all seriousness, returning to his original task of hanging the evening's decorations from the ceiling for the party they'd planned for later, an easy job for him, as he was just about 6.5 feet in height. He was constantly grateful that the ceilings of the 2 cottages knocked together, in which he and his family lived, had higher than average ceilings for the style and age of dwelling it was. "I will when it's time, honestly. You've got hours before you go out yet. You're worse than the boys. I'm still working on the costumes." "I think I'll just phone the inspector one more time. He may be working, but he might fancy driving over here on a patrol round to see the Carmichael gang out doing their stuff. We can always find a black sheet, make a vampire cloak for him if he's in the mood when he arrives." "I shouldn't waste your breath, Davy. I really can't see Inspector Falconer being in the least interested in going tricking or treating with our crew. You forget, Peter Pan, that he actually grew up and lives in the adult world, as do quite a lot of other people of our acquaintance." "Daft rumour, woman, that's just a daft rumour," her husband muttered darkly, as he went off in search for the bolt for his neck. In his office in Market Darley Police Station, Inspector Harry Falconer leaned back in his leather chair, with his feet up on his desk, and tranquilly sipped a cup of coffee, hot and fragrant and comforting. He'd almost forgotten how peaceful the office could be without the madcap company of that giant jumping spider of a DS, to whom he'd granted a night's leave to lead the children on a merry dance round the green in Castle Farthing, begging sweetmeats from the neighbours under the dire threat of trick. It seemed the kindlier of 2 acts. Carmichael would get a great deal of enjoyment from play-acting with his 2 stepsons. Had he given a free evening to D.C. Roberts, that officer would only have gone to the party at the town hall to spend the evening tom-catting around and getting blind drunk. He would then have been late into the office tomorrow, and have proved to be totally unfit for work anyway. No, Falconer thought, he'd granted the free evening to the most deserving officer who would cause the least future disruption because of his present free time. He'd sent his DC, on duty with a very ill grace, out to interview a homeowner who had suffered an attempted burglary which had originally been investigated by PC Green but was deemed worthy of a follow-up interview, as it was thought now to be part of a series of break-ins and attempted break-ins and enterings.